Hello, IK here. Welcome to AI Teacher. We see label, welcome. This is the experimental AI teacher. We currently have only module 1, column, React e-commerce, how it loads. Okay, I may be asking what is React e-commerce? Send. You see, my message is right. It is input. It is I am user. Uh, we will cover that in later modules. Let's start with module 1, React e-commerce, how it loads. First, let's talk about how website loads in the browser. When you enter URL into your browser, the following sequence happens. The browser spends a request to the server for the website. The server responds by sending back the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript files needed to render the page. Here is interesting. Do you want to continue with the loading sequence in React? Yes. Thinking, and after thinking, you see, great. Now let's look at the loading sequence for a React application, specifically how it goes from index.html to index.js to app.js. Index.html, this is the entry point of the application. It contains the basic HTML structure and div element with an ID, often root, where the React app will be mounted. You see that part of that chunk of the index.html, and look at that element div with ID equal root. And through that div, React application show on the screen on user interface, React produce user interface, and show us on the screen through this div. All around it, like doc type and HTML long head, all around stay static as it. Only changes inside of that div. But okay, it is not place where I can explain, but it is to show AI teacher, experimental. Index.js, this file is responsible for rendering the React application. It typically uses React DOM.render to mount the main component, often app component, into the DOM at the root div. Import React, etc. Here it is. React DOM, render app component. Can you explain this in your own words? Yes, I can. When we enter, yes, I can. When we enter address in address bar in browser 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 start loading index.html. Start loading index.html. After finish, it goes in index.js. Index.js is enter point to React app. Send. Look at that design. What I typing in, what would be responded. That's a good explanation. Now let's move on to the next concept, document object model readiness, and why JavaScript must wait for HTML finished loading. Why? Document object model readiness. This refers to the state when the HTML document has been completely loaded and parsed. At this point, the browser has created representation of the page structure, which JavaScript can interact with. If JavaScript starts loading before document object model not finished, JavaScript need all elements in document object model to be ready to manipulate with. JavaScript cannot load it if cannot manipulate with div id root if that div not finished creation in document object model. Okay, you see how I must say something when I read this. All what here read, it is retrieval augmented generation. Are retrieve are augmented a generation. It is all my text, and the AI teacher must represent my text, not that. Here is I use LLM, and we must control LLM, and you will see in code where we control it. What to say, how in wide how many can put own knowledge, etc. Here is interesting because interaction, AI teacher put AI teacher, LLM behind of this is real natural language. And my text, my module 1, 3, etc., is only what LLM use. It is outside of his knowledge. But of course, we can combine and use more or less of knowledge of LLM. Why JavaScript waits for HTML? Here it is. Here it is. Okay, it is. Now, look at. Can you explain this in your own words? Now that I don't write again, I will say yes, I can. Send. Great, you got the hang of it. To summarize what we covered in Module 1, we discussed how website loads in the browser, starting from the request to the server. We went over the loading sequence in a React application from index.html to index.js. Finally, we talked about document object model readiness and why JavaScript must wait for HTML to be fully loaded before executing. If you're ready, we can dive deeper into another topic within Module 1. Or if you have any question, feel free to ask what would you like to do next. What is Redux? What is Redux? Now send. We will cover that in later modules. You see, LLM know excellent knows can explain Redux, but in instructions in context we said not if user asks something outside of module 1, you say we will cover that in later modules and something like that. For now, look at now. For now, let's continue exploring Module 1. Would you like to review any specific concepts we've covered? Or should we move on to another topic within the module, etc., etc.? I hope you have an image of possibility of creation AI application, AI teacher, or anything like that. In what you are specialist, you can create AI teacher for that, your specialization, or law house. It's a big law organization can put document, different document in something like AI teacher and sell it, sell it. I can also, we can, I can sell a AI teacher to have a free option, selling from some money and selling to expert, etc. This is on my computer's application, but also there is application here on this address, but I am limited in tokens because I pay that tokens, and how much paying you can see on OpenAI. I limited in, I take a limited number of tokens, enter and output. And in moment when you want to see this address, maybe you see empty. Maybe you can't communicate with AI teachers. Here it is all, communication is okay. Do you have module 2? Look, you can ask what you want. You see, we will cover that in a later modules. And uh, for now, in that first moment, uh, me like book. Uh, I prefer book before YouTube, before in front of and AI teachers, because Outlook book there is a possibility you take in your hand, and you see content, you see beginning, you see at the end, all concept, all content, uh, structure, organization of learning you have in your hand. Here uh, is a problem concretely that you learn for example, that I learn React you by this AI teacher with my content, when AI, LLM, ChatGPT, and other know more, know a lot of, and I learn from LLM. I learn React from LLM. And LLM is an excellent teacher for programming and programming code and explain you, etc., etc. And but some combination where I thinking something about where I where I put if I put content here like this welcome, this label, some content, and that you can click on that content, and that I like in book. I in book I will not write what LLM know better than me. Knowledge, base knowledge, fundamental knowledge. There is a two part: burning administration, like administration. You must do that, and creative part, explanation. LLM is good in both, uh, but me as a teacher, I as a teacher thinking about in what category I better than LLM, and a lot of time I thinking this that I am better in explanation. I'm trying ask LLM explain me the structured, what is the structured, explain the structured assignment. And it is excellent explanation with a lot of examples, etc. And I'm not better in explanation. What I'm thinking that I am better in explanation. And does it my job finished as teacher? No, 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 because uh, I not I thinking that I must explain how I how I have been feeling, what was emotions when I learned React, and the users can, but strictly fundament explain the structured assignment. In book, I will give links to, no, it would be bold, and every bold you ask LLM. And it is excellent work for me. I did not I don't need explain fundament fundament of JavaScript, but I can concentrate on application. My book and uh, my book and my explanation is always about application. I created this moment. I created four application to all is connected to e-commerce, big e-commerce, and I spoke about that. But JavaScript, look at LLM, and my experience in that creation of learning. At first, I must learn React and Redux, etc. And how I learn, how I see all that in first look, and what I thinking, and what I ask, what I thinking, what I ask, and what I what is my statement to LLM, and how we communicate. What was my question after basic knowledge? After basic knowledge, and what I ask LLM, it is different what you ask, what you will ask, and what some other would ask, and so my book would be my experience of learning, my experience of creating e-commerce, artificial intelligence, of course, coding all, but I didn't repeat always that artificial coding all. I, I, I said that all that created, I have been created. That coding something excellent, but it is nothing. It is a big job for me in some second, but I am guide of that. I am project manager. I uh, I decided what to do, when to do, to do, how look at all that. My job as a teacher is more interesting because coding was very, very boring job. Uh, Boring job. And now I like teacher can talk about application like we are on the coffee, and we discuss about our experience learning and building, and learning and building and coding application, and uh, we can ask bold bold text. What is it? What is it in JavaScript, etc. In anything. But LLM don't give us application, complete application. You can ask, you can for your own experiment ask, give me that, code me that, create, build. But you will see LLM cannot give you uh, application on blind. You are blind and ask e-commerce, etc. Because production of application is connected with money. We need money by that application, and how we how we earn that money, how we promotion it, how we guide marketing. Uh, with all of that, we can talk with the LLM. LLM would be uh, very good in said what to do. But it is like a school example. LLM, LLM will counter, count, and make order list. And for that, it is good that, for example, how promote or how create marketing around this application. He will not forget nothing. You will have a complete list of to do. Uh, but it is boring. It is like administration, and the AI is excellent for that boring job. You are that what decided how organize your marketing, and what is I like a lot of it is a lean strategy where you can stop and turn around in every process, uh, or get continuous and etc. Okay, I will stop this video here because it is one concern about AI teacher application, and in the next video I show and explain code. A reason that you're coming in a YouTube channel, or a reason that you buy my book will be to uh, to read or to see experience, my experience, my emotions about learning React and produce, create application. And you will have that application. You can clone that and use and train on that and use for yourself. But with my books in the future and with YouTube's, uh, maybe AI teacher I would use for one channel. In any case, uh, you have somebody on the table with you on the coffee, and you can below in comment of this video, you can comment that what I say in video. You can communicate with me by that below, but also communicate with others who coming to see this video. If you know somebody that need video like that, inform them, send information by your social network, uh, subscribe, like. Thank you for watching this video.